Hello, welcome back to Rigor Knits. If you're new here or you don't know, my name's Claire, and on my channel I talk about all things knitting. Apologies if you can hear the fan in the background, it's like quite humid and I'm sort of sweating already. Had to move the fan, so sorry if I'm sitting in an ever so slightly different position. I've just started the video. Anyway, today I have a slightly different video, one that I have never done on my channel before, which is rating all of the socks I've ever knit. I have seen this, I've been inspired by videos where people rate like all the summer knits I've ever knit. And I'm sure I've definitely seen people do like other ones, like every jumper they've ever knit or rating petite knit patterns or whatever. Yeah, I've been inspired by a video. I can't remember the name of the channel, but I will put a link to it in my bio because I like edit and upload my videos on my iPad, and I don't think I can add like a little thing on the video for you to click. So I'll put it in the bio anyway. So credit where credit's due. That is what inspired me to make this video. Before we get started, I am wearing a brand new knit. I just finished this probably 2 weeks ago now, but I have been away on holiday and I haven't had a chance to wear it, so this is the first time I'm wearing it, and this is my Knitlit by Simone Berg. So I knit this in the size small, which I think is the second size in the pattern, and the yarn is the recommended yarn. It's Sanniscorn Lena and Sanniscorn Tin Lena held together, both in the color Acorn. So yeah, hopefully you can see it. But yeah, I love it. Anyway, let's get into the video. So I do have 20 pairs of socks sitting in front of me on my bed. And I am going to try to do this in order of the first pair of socks I knit all the way up to the last pair. And I also have 2 pairs of socks on my needles at the minute, but those aren't to be included because I have not had a chance to like wear them yet or finish them, so who knows how they'll turn out. And the way I'm going to rate these socks is it's going to be based on the design, i.e., how was the pattern to follow? What does like the actual physical design of the pattern, like the way the socks turned out, like how much does that appeal to me? So that's going to be on a scale of 1 to 5, or maybe 0 to 5. And then the yarn choice as well, I'll be rating that on the same scale. And then also the video that I was watching, the final like metric that was included was wearability. But because these are all socks, they are extremely wearable. So I'm going to scrap that and I'm just going to do, would I knit again? Yes or no. So let's get into it. Just to bear in mind, the first 3 pairs of socks I have in front of me, I knit them before I was like a big Ravelry user, so I don't have the pattern for one of them, and I don't know what the sock yarn is for a couple of them, so I will try my best with the information that I have. So yeah, let's get into it. First pair of socks, awful. Haven't even rated them yet. These, I tried to find the pattern there now, but I just couldn't find it anywhere. Oh dear, you can tell. I think this was maybe my second or third thing I had ever knit when I learned to knit. And they are supposed to be slipper socks, but they just look terrible. I did them in a big chunky yarn. It is, I want to say 1x1 ribbing, and it is knit flat and seamed up. And the same, if I can find it, I actually can't find it. Maybe I did a better job than I thought. Maybe this other sock is worse. Oh, yes. I did a better job in the second sock than the first sock. There's the same here, like where my thumb is poking out. Oh, so messy. There it is. Oh no. Oh no. So yeah, these were knit flat. They also have a hole in the toe because I remember it was something like your toe could just poke out of there. It was something to do with you had to like really just tighten it at the end to form the toe, but yeah, it left a hole in both of mine. Maybe I was supposed to seam that up. I don't know. Not good. So let me see. I forgot I'm supposed to be rating these. So the design, I would give these a 0.5. 0.5 out of 5. Could not find the pattern, so I cannot tell you like how easy the pattern was to follow. But as a beginner, like yeah, I did create a sock from it, but oh my god, it looks awful. Would never wear these ever. They somehow have a place in my sock drawer, but they are just fit for the bin basically. So yeah, 0.5 just looks awful, and that is my own fault. I made these look like this. Because the ones in the picture on the pattern did not look like that. So 0.5 yarn choice. I cannot remember at all what the yarn was for these, but do you know what? I like the color. It's cute. It's a chunky yarn, which this pattern had called for. Not a clue what it's made out of. Have not worn these, and you can see like all that fluff coming off. So yarn choice. Let's give this a 3 out of 5. My second pair of socks is the first iteration of a pattern that you will see an awful lot in this video. These are the first time I ever knit the I'm So Basic socks by Summer Lee. I'm going to say that it is a free pattern. I'm pretty sure it is free because at the start of my knitting journey, I didn't pay for like any patterns. So I'm pretty sure it is a free pattern, and it is a really really great place to start learning how to knit socks. The way, if anybody is like keen to knit socks, 100% I would definitely recommend that pattern. That is what got me into sock knitting, was that pattern, and thank god I tried to knit another sock after that first disaster. So let's get into these. The design, I would give these, let me think, let's give it a 4.5 out of 5, because it is, at the end of the day, it is a basic sock. It's the I'm So Basic sock. It does what it says on the title. There is nothing fancy about these, but they do what they need to do. They are socks. I just don't want to give them 5 because I feel like 5 should be something really special, but obviously I do love the pattern on this. It's a fun to read pattern, really good pictures and everything. I'm pretty sure magic loop is even explained in that pattern, which I had never like seen an explanation for before. Yeah, really really well written, 100%. If you are going to take any inspiration from this video, let that pattern be it, because you can then go in once you're confident and start making little modifications. You can do, as you see later, that I have done like a picot edge. You can do a different kind of ribbing. You could do a different kind of heel, different kind of toe, all this stuff. But anyway, 4.5 out of 5 for the design. My yarn choice, the purple parts up here, I knit those in, I want to say it was like a hobby cotton yarn, and then the like kind of pink gradient like stripy yarn is another hobby one. I will try and find the information somewhere and put it on the screen if I can. These did get an awful lot of wear. Unfortunately, you can kind of tell, I think, from the way they are looking, they are slightly felted. So I made a serious mistake, which I only learned not to do fairly recently, and that I thought a lot of my socks would be okay in the washing machine. I wouldn't tumble dry them, but I would machine wash them with like the rest of my clothes at like 40 degrees, and yeah, a couple of my socks don't look so hot now. And this is one pair. I wore these so much, so they did get an awful lot of time in the washing machine. So yeah, the yarn doesn't look so hot now. Maybe if I took care of it properly, it would be better. But yeah, there's absolutely no stretch in these. The color itself, like I do love the cotton. The cotton is, if you're looking for like something thick for like a really good reinforced heel or reinforced toe, whatever, cotton is great. I would definitely recommend cotton. But for the sock yarn, yeah, it didn't hold up so good. I can't wear these anymore because they're so felted. So the yarn choice, I would give this, I think the color scheme is cute, 3.5 out of 5. Would I reknit these? 100% yes, I would. Absolutely yes, I would. And I have. My next pair of socks then, these are the final pair I have in front of me that I don't have in Ravelry, so everything else I should know the yarns. Again, another version of the I'm So Basic sock. This one looks like a mess. Oh my god, look at it. So I cast these on very last minute. I was going on holiday and I wanted something to knit on the plane and while I was just chilling by the pool. So I went to my local yarn shop and I just bought like any old sock yarn, whatever, give it to me. I again, I used the same purpley cotton that I had used for the last pair. Just the main yarn is a different one, and again, I don't know what one it is. If I do find out what it is, I'll put it on the screen. But yeah, I'm not a fan of this colorway at all, and the weird pulling. Like, yeah, it's very strange, super duper strange. I did a slightly shorter leg for these ones, and something I didn't say about those previous pink ones is I didn't knit the foot long enough, which is something that I now know. I know how long to knit my socks. So the foot does fit on these, but the leg is a bit shorter than the other one, just wanted to try something different. Yeah, I don't even know what this yarn is, but it feels very cottony as well. It's very like heavy. I don't know if I'm a fan, but I have like worn these a couple of times. But yeah, if I'm like stuck for socks and I still really want to wear a knit sock for some reason, I would wear these. But yeah, so design again, it's the same pattern. It's the I'm So Basic sock pattern again, so I'll give it a 4.5 again. And the yarn choice, I'll give this one a 2.5, although they have held up a lot better, probably because they don't get much wear. I told a lie and said that those socks were the last ones I have in front of me before I started putting them in Ravelry, but I do have another pair right here. These are the Broken Record Broken Rib socks by Alex Parker Mooney. These ones they're cute. They're thick. You can see from the look of them how thick they are, which is strange because they have the same amount of stitches on the leg portion and the foot portion and everything as the I'm So Basic one. But the reason why they're so thick is my yarn choice. Let's get into the rating anyway. The pattern is a free pattern. It has a slightly different explanation for, I think it's the heel turn than the I'm So Basic sock, but it still works absolutely fine. Like, it still does the heel turn for you. They are broken rib all the way across like the leg, and then the top of the foot, and then just like normal stockinette in the bottom of the foot, which makes knitting the foot portion go a lot quicker. So what would I rate these? Design, how they look, and the way the pattern was written, I would give these are a little bit more elevated than the I'm So Basic sock, just in the fact that they have something more to them. Maybe I would still give them a 4.5, Yeah, I think it's a nice basic. It is a really nice basic. And then the yarn choice, I love this color. I think that color is gorgeous. It's got the kind of variegation going on. I love like lovely jewel tones, which I think this would classify itself as. I would maybe give this yarn choice though a 3.5, only because the yarn, which I can't remember what it is again, sorry, but it's like a cottony yarn, so that's why it is so thick. They're just too chunky, and they take ages to dry as well, which means they can kind of have like a dampy smell to them, like after they've been washed and everything. So not the best yarn choice. Would I knit it again though, this pattern? Yes, and I have, but I'll get to that in a little bit later. Now we're on to potentially my favorite, one of my favorite pairs of socks. These ones got so much wear out of them. Let me hold up a second. Sorry, these are all like folded up in my sock drawer, hence why they kind of look a bit raggedy. It's another version of the I'm So Basic socks, but I thought this time I had a lot of confidence behind me whenever I did these ones, so I decided to do a picot edge instead of just normal ribbing. So I did that by knitting, I want to say like 10 rows, like, casting all my stitches, knitting 10 rows, doing yarn over K2 tog for like one row, and then knitting another, or one round I should say, and knitting another 10 rounds, and then just joining in my little pink color. I think these are so cute. These used to be a lot more vibrant, and I used to wash all my socks in the washing machine. Serious regret doing that, because they are definitely losing a lot of color. They're also super, super like pilly, because I have worn them so much, but I love these. So the white-ish yarn used to be a lot whiter than it is now. Is a cotton one. It is, oh, I have it here, yay. It's Mayflower Cotton 8-4 solids in the color 1401 Nature. So that is like those white parts, those contrast little parts. And then the pink yarn I have here is from Dye Candy, who is a independent yarn dyer in Northern Ireland, where I'm from. And this is Super Sock in the color Cherry Bomb. Yeah, it should be a lot more vibrant pink. I don't know what it is, the color choices, the pink and the white, or the Pico edge, or the little specks throughout the pink. I just love these. These are my perfect little socks. So again, let's rate them. Design 4.5 again, same pattern as the other I'm So Basic Socks ones, just with a little modification I had done myself. Yarn choice, 5 out of 5. Yeah, let's give it 5 out of 5. If only I hadn't machine washed them. Oh, but still, 5 out of 5. And then would I reknit it? Absolutely yes. My next pair, oh, you're gonna get sick of me. It's I'm So Basic Socks again. These ones, I call these my Halloween socks for the colorway, because it's like orange and black. These ones, I had done the exact same as the pattern with the, I think it's 2x1 ribbing up at the top. Longer cuff this time, or leg, sorry. Longer leg this time. And then, yeah, they fit absolutely fine on my feet. One thing to note about this though is I had to finish off the toe on one in purple. Oh, they're covered in hairs. I think off the top of my head, from what I can remember, I was doing a commission and I really needed the tiniest bit of this black cotton yarn. And I was just like, well, I don't really like these socks that much, so I'll just take it off here and then finish them up again, join in a different cotton yarn, and away I go. So that's what I did. So for these ones, the design again, 4.5. Can't really change that at this point. And the yarn color, the yarn choice, the yarn I used here, this like orangey kind of self patterny, self striping kind of yarn. It would be good if these were like nice and like flat, so you could see. There we go, that's a bit better. This yarn here, the orange yarn, is Garn Studio Drops Fable in the color Tex Mex, which whenever I bought it, I had bought it online, I think, or I'd looked at it online and I thought it was going to be a lot more pink. Like there's those specks of pink. I thought it would be a lot more pink and less orange, but it is clearly orange with bits of like pink and beige and cream throughout. So I do wish they weren't as orange. The black yarn is another just cotton yarn that I had. So yarn choice, I would rate this, let's give it a 3 out of 5 maybe. I mean, they're not awful. They are kind of Halloweeny, and I do love the little pattern there. Like it does look very cute. Just don't love the choice of black for contrast color, and the orange as well. So much orange. Would I reknit it? Yes. Not in this yarn though. Different yarn. The next one we have, you're not gonna believe what the pattern is. Oh yeah, another I'm So Basic sock. So these ones were actually, I knit these for my, this one looks a little less messy. I knit these for my fiance, and whenever, I didn't even say, whenever I'm knitting Summerlee's I'm So Basic sock, I would knit a size medium for myself. These are in the size large. And you just go off the measurement of the ball of your foot. So you just like wrap the tape measure around there, and mine came out to, I think it was like maybe 8.25 inches, but I'd rather size down and have a nice snug fit than something a bit too baggy. So the yarn, again, it's another one of these kind of self patterning, self striping yarns, and I will put the details of it on the screen if I have it. I know it's a Drops Fable one, but I can't remember the colorway or anything. It's maybe Salt and Pepper, it's maybe something else, I don't know. And then the same black cotton yarn as well for the contrast little parts. So again, for the design, I didn't stray away from the pattern at all for these, I would give it a 4.5 out of 5. And then for the yarn choice, I think these are nice socks for a man. And I do love self-patterning, and also the black contrast parts works so much well with this than with the previous socks. So maybe I would give these for the yarn a 4 out of 5. It's a nice sturdy yarn. That's one good thing about the Drops Fable yarns, is they are sturdy, and same with the cotton, it's nice and sturdy. You just have to be careful with pilling is the only thing. But yeah, there's a couple of pills here. I don't know if you can see, but they're really not too bad at all. Would I knit it again as well? Of course. It's the same pattern again. Of course I would. Okay, a little break from the I'm So Basic socks for a while here. The next pair of socks is these little cuties. These are the Embossed Leaves socks by Mona Schmidt, and the yarn that I use for these is Symphony Yarns Terra in the color Valentine. So they're like all over like lace pattern. Let me try and like put it on my arm so you can see. You can kind of see some of the bits of lace. They're like an all over lace pattern with like a leaf motif throughout. These ones don't get as much love as I wish I could give them. The only reason for that being is the toe decreases. I really dislike, and I could so easily rip this back. I still have the same yarn, the same ball and everything. I could so easily rip back the end of the toe and redo it how I like it. But from what I remember, the toe decreases were like kind of random, and I think it's to like continue nearly the leaf motif. So you're doing decreases in like the middle of the top of the toe, and then the middle of the bottom as well, and I can really feel that decrease. Like whenever I'm like walking, I can feel it under my toes, which I hate. So I should just rip this back and just do the decreases like most other patterns I've knit here, where it's just on the sides of the toe. Because yeah, it really does actually annoy me. It's like a sensory thing. I really don't like it. But these are the cutest socks ever. Wow, the pattern and the yarn. Oh, let's get into rating it. Pattern then, I will give the pattern, because it's the only drawback to this pattern, it, it is so cute. Like the actual motif throughout it is gorgeous. It's just that toe decreasing that I really don't like. So pattern, I will give this a, I'm also just noticing actually the heel, it's not like one of those reinforced slip stitch heels, which like a lot of those socks I have just picked up. I've just thrown them on the floor down there. A lot of those socks I've just talked about have a slip stitch reinforced heel. I think this is just like stockinette stitch on the heel, like it's not like reinforced, which could be a drawback if you like wear shoes that are going to rub. It might not last as long. I'm going to give these for the design a 4 out of 5. The main big drawback being the toe decreasing and how I can feel that when I wear it. Yarn choice, 5 out of 5. If you are in the market for a good sock yarn, my go-to is always Symphony Yarns Terra. It's not too expensive. I think whenever I buy a big skein of it, it'll do 2 pairs of socks that have like a bit of leg on them, and then maybe another pair of shorty socks, or something else. So one skein or hank or whatever is £13, which is pretty affordable in my opinion, and they are just, that yarn is just so squishy and it's like stretchy. If you can see that, it's just so soft, and the color of this with like the little speckles throughout. Yeah, I popped off with the yarn for this one, so 5 out of 5 for the yarn. But yeah, unfortunately it is let down by the pattern with the toe decreasing. Would I knit it again? Yes, but I would do the toe decreases just on the sides instead of across the middle, on the top and the bottom of the foot. I would just do it on the sides. My next socks then are the first pair of socks I ever knit from the Sock Project book by Summer Lee. Oh, I'm covering the. And these are, please don't judge how they look right now, I'll explain it in a second. My Scrimshaw socks. So these, the yarn has gone very limp and like lost a lot of like you can see through it basically. It looks like a net. Um Something happened to these in the washing machine. I don't know what happened, but something terrible happened. So I'm very sad. I can't wear these anymore because they're too thin. The yarns I used, I'll confirm on the screen, but I'm pretty sure it was Cascade Yarns Heritage in the color white, and then a Drops Fable one in blue. So Drops Fable, that one seems to have held up absolutely fine. Like the color work is like still nice and thick, but the white yarn is just it's like it's gone incredibly thin or something, which is sad. These are a lovely, cute pair of Christmas socks, but they don't look so cute now. Um, so for the pattern for these ones, I would rate this as well a 4.5 out of 5. I have nothing, no notes. It went by really quick actually. The actual knitting up of these because this was like I want to say one of my first major bits of color work I had done, and it was super fun. And I do love Summer Lee's patterns, so yeah, 4.5 out of 5. These cute little bands of color work. And then for the yarn choice, I have to give myself. Oh, it's hard to rate this one because it is my own mistake. I shouldn't have been washing it in the washing machine anyway. Let's give myself. Let's just give it a 3 out of 5. I'm never gonna wear these again, but 3 out of 5. Would I knit this again though? Absolutely yes. I will just maybe for the white yarn I could find a white Symphony Yarns Terra one and knit that up and then do maybe a different colour for the colour work just so it's not a complete copy. The next pair I have here, apologies if they are looking pretty bad. They have been worn and were in my washing pile and I've had to take them out for this video. These are a favourite. They 100% are an absolute favourite. So these are the Seafarer socks, also from the Sock Project book by Summer Lee. Again, these were another pair that have been in the washing machine a lot. They used to be a lot more pink, and now they are like nearly the color of my skin pretty much. So I'm not a huge fan of that. But I do still love these socks. I still think they're so cute. So the yarn that I used for these was Inspiring Yarns Merino Smooth Sock, and Inspiring Yarns are another one from Northern Ireland. And the colorway is Caroline, but again it should be a lot pinker than it is. So yeah, let's get into these ones. I may have modified the ribbing on these. I had a real phase for doing twisted or half twisted rib, sorry. And these I can't remember off the top of my head, even though I have the book right here. They may call for a different kind of ribbing, but I was really into the look of twisted ribbing, which I do still think looks lovely, clean and crisp. And then, yeah, you do your ribbing and then go straight into this little bit where it's cute little cables and little knits and pearls. Reinforced heel, so there's that slip stitch heel. I'll actually show you this time. I mentioned it before. There's that slip stitch heel, which is lovely and feels thick to me. And then, yeah, ordinary gusset decreases back down to original stitch count, and then it is, try not to show the bottom too much because it's probably dirty. It is just stockinette stitch in the bottom and continue with your cables on the top, and then yeah, just ordinary toe box, the same as the I'm So Basic pattern. I just think the little cables here are so cute. This is like the perfect little girly sock, and I also love the height I knit these two on the leg. I didn't want it too long. I thought that would look a bit funny if I had like all these cables going like all the way up my leg. So I did the leg quite short, but I think it's perfect. These do get so much wear. Yeah, I absolutely love them. So let's rate them. Pattern. Can I give it a 5 out of 5? I think I will. Not pattern, sorry, design. I will give the design a 5 out of 5 because again, no notes. It's just perfect. Gorgeous little girly cabley socks. And these don't, I think that I'm only thinking they're girly because they're pink. You could so easily do these in like a grey and a man could wear them. I could totally see that. Or like a beige, like your granddad might wear those. um 5 out of 5. I love these. And the yarn choice, can I also give it a 5 out of 5? If only it was the original colour. Let's give it a 4.5 out of 5. If it was the original colour and hadn't faded, it would be a 5 out of 5, but because it's faded, I'll give it a 4.5. So these are like near perfect. They would have been perfect at the start. Would I knit them again? 100% I would. And I should. I actually should. They're gorgeous. And I just, imagine gifting these to somebody as well. Perfect. Love these socks. Wow. My next pair, this is a little bit of self promo because these are a pattern that I have since released. These are my Oh My Goodness socks. So this was the first time I knit these. I have knit this sock pattern like I don't know how many times now because I was doing like commissions for like family friends and things like that for like Christmas gifts. Um yeah, I think these are so cute. I knit these for a Christmas gift for my fiance. So these are in the size large, and this also follows a really similar stitch count to like Summer Lee's I'm So Basic socks. So if you are a large in that sock, you'll be a large in this, and a medium, you'll be a medium in this. I have this pattern on my Ravelry and my Etsy. If you want to buy it though, buy it on Ravelry because Etsy does charge you a little bit more. Like they charge tax or something. I don't know. Ravelry, it will be, if you're in the UK, it'll be like £3. I don't know how much it is in like euros or dollars or anything, but if you're interested, I have these for sale. The pattern, I mean, not the socks. So yeah, let's talk about it. I knit these first ones I knit in November 2024, and they took me a little over a month to do. So I had done this little Guinness motif. So cute with a little shiny bit on the edge of the pints. I think there's like maybe 9 pints all around. It's just like a cuff colorwork situation going on here, and then there's like it's just plain stockinette for the rest of it, basically with no colorwork, just contrasting heel and toe and stuff. The yarn I used here was Symphony Yarns Terra, again this green yarn, Symphony Yarns Terra in the color Rainforest, and then I had a cotton black yarn for all of the black parts, and then a cotton yellow one and a cotton white one for the colorwork, which is what I knit a lot of these iterations in. I'll show the inside of the colorwork. It's like this. So there is a couple of instances when you're knitting with 3 colors, and that is because, so like if you have a look, you always have the green. The green is like in between all of the colors, and then like the second row of the color work, you're knitting like 2 stitches of yellow per pint, and then like 5 stitches of white or something. And then whenever you get down to the bit of the pint where it has like the little reflection bit, you're knitting with green, black, and white. So it can be a little bit fiddly, but 3 is the max. I always like can't wait until I like finish the reflection bit, and then you're only knitting with 2 colors, and then once you finish the whole color work part, 1 color. What I tried with my most recent couple of pairs, instead of like having the white as well, I tried to do duplicate stitch with the white, which I don't know if I liked the outcome of that. I think it maybe is just cleaner if you just hold it and do it like carry the strands basically and knit it like normal color work. But yeah, let's rate these then. So for the I can't really, it's my own pattern, I can't really rate it. I'll give it a 5 then. Oh, I shouldn't. That's like so big headed. Maybe no, I can't give myself a 5. I'll give myself a 4 out of 5 for the pattern. First pattern I ever wrote. I think I might have written another sock pattern before this. No. This was the first pattern I ever wrote. So yeah, 4 out of 5. I hope. I don't know. Somebody knit this and tell me if I'm wrong. And then for the yarn choice, green is my favorite color. If anybody doesn't know, I love green, but this green is very vibrant, so I don't know how much I rate this one actually. Let's give this yarn. Do you know what? It looks great on Paddy's Day. mm, let's give this yarn also a 4 out of 5. And then would I knit this again? Yes, and I have. I've knit it so many times. So yeah, that's my own little pattern, but I had to include it because it's a sock I've knit a lot. My next pair of socks then, another one from Summerlee's sock project book. These ones are the Camellia socks. Let me show you what is going on with these socks. So this one is very similar to the embossed leaf socks in that it's like, it looks like leaf motif nearly, or like waves kind of, I don't know, like a fan or something. I don't know. But it kind of, I think it reminds me of leaves because of the color maybe of the yarn that I chose. Um, so yeah, this, it's a cute little just lace motif just in the center on the top of the, like front of the leg and top of the foot, and then it's just stockinette all around for the rest of it. So the yarn I used for these was Another Inspiring Yarns merino smooth sock, and this is in the color Silky, and I do think this color is gorgeous. It's like a greeny bluey color, like seaweedy or something, like ocean color. I think it's beautiful. Let's get into the ratings though. So for the pattern, I do remember reading the pattern and being like a little bit confused. It was like, I was like, it's something to do with how many stitches you knit before you get into like the lace motif, and then how many stitches you're knitting after. I was like, these won't be centered, but you know what, it looks absolutely fine when you're wearing it. So I would give this pattern 4.5 out of 5, let's say. Yeah, why not? It's very like intricate, it is gorgeous. Yeah, 4.5 out of 5. And also the good thing about this, when I compare these to the embossed sleeve socks, is the decreases are just on the sides, so these are comfortable to wear. And then for the yarn choice, I will give this another 4.5 out of 5. If it, do you know what? If it was the exact same color in Symphony Yarns Terra, it would be a 5 out of 5 because that is just so cozy. But yeah, nothing at all wrong with this yarn. Would I knit it again? Maybe. Maybe. There's nothing like drawing me massively to knit this again. Whereas with the embossed leaves pattern, I'm like, I want to knit it again so I can change the toe decreases. But these ones, it's like, yep, I've done them. I can move on now. So maybe I would knit them again. There's nothing putting me off them. I don't need 2 pairs of this sock. Oh, unless I knit it for a gift, then yeah, absolutely I would. Then the next sock we have here. This is another one that's been through the washing machine a little bit too much. It's my own pair of the Oh My Goodness socks. I'm sad about how these look. I will have to reknit these for myself, maybe for next Paddy's Day, because this is the only pair I have for myself. And oh, they used to be this gorgeous like blue and like white yarn for like the main color, and now it's like look, there's like big gaps, all the colors gone, and they feel hard. Oh no. So yeah, again, this is my own pattern, so let's just rate it immediately. What did I give myself last time? 4.5 or 4? Can't remember. I'll put the same number up here that I gave myself last time. And then for the yarn, so the main yarn I have for like the majority of it is Irish Artisan Yarns Merino Bamboo Silk in the color Brompton Bay, which was so cute before I went in the washing machine. And then I think this is Cascade Heritage White for the white parts, and then just cotton yarns for the black and the yellow. I'm sad about these. So for the yarns, before it got ruined in the washing machine, it would have been a 4.5 out of 5, let's say. Yeah, 4.5 out of 5, but now I am going to have to give it like a 1 out of 5. Yeah, let's be realistic. This is a 1 out of 5. This looks so bad. That like the white yarn went all thin, and then the blue yarn's all hard and doesn't even look blue anymore. Oh, So bad. Absolute fail. If there's two things to take away from this video, it's knit the I'm So Basic sock by Summer Lee and hand wash all your socks. Just do that all at once and throw a colour catcher in. It'll be way better than this. Oh god. Okay. The next socks then are another variation of the I'm So Basic socks with the Pico edge. Again, these ones also been through the washing machine. They used to be a lot more vibrant, and now, oh, they're just like yellow all over pretty much, which is sad. So I actually don't have the yarns on Ravelry for some reason, but I'll put the details up. I do know the pink and the purple contrast colors are from a Copeland Yarns like mini set that like none of them had a name, and the mini set also I don't think had a name. So I can't even tell you that, but the main yarn I will have somewhere. Hopefully I'll put it on the screen. If not, sorry. Pattern. What did I give it last time with the Pico edge? 5? Can't remember. Maybe 4.5. I'll put the same up as I did last time because it is exactly the same. And the yarn. Do you know, even before it got washed out, I wasn't like crazy keen on it. I knit these around Easter time, and I remember thinking that the color was like giving a bag of mini eggs a little bit, kind of like Easter themed, which I wasn't even that keen on. So for the yarn, let's give this a 3 out of 5. Everything's still very highly rated. Anything less than 2, I'm like, uh-oh, serious issues there. So yeah, everything is kind of highly rated. Whoopsie daisies. Would I knit these again? Yeah. Different yarn though? Yeah, I would. The next pair of socks then I have also been through the washing machine. When am I going to learn? I don't know. It's the same yarn that I had for the pink one. Anyway, I actually can't remember what the white one is. But it's the same yarn I had for the Seafarer socks, where it's like the color of my skin now, basically. These anyway. Let's get into the pattern. These are my own pattern again. These are the ruffle cuff socks, and this is a free pattern that I have on Ravelry. So if you're interested, like all the links for all of these patterns, except for the ones that are in books and the ones I couldn't find, they're all in the bio below. So if you're interested, you can check these out too, and it's free. But yeah, it's basically cuff down, and it's a little subtle ruffle. Nothing too crazy. It is just like a cute little cute ruffle. I think it's an afterthought heel. Yes. And then just like ordinary like toe and things. So for the pattern, it is very easy to follow, quite basic pattern. So let's give it a 4 out of 5 again. Like there's nothing wrong with it. It's just it is a basic little pattern. Basic little free pattern. And then for the yarns, I'm gonna have to give this. I do like the color contrast between the pink and the white. Sorry, everything is so like crumpled up. It's been in my drawer for ages. Yeah, the color contrast between the pink and the white is cute. If the pink was a little more pink. Yarn choice, I am going to give this a 3 out of 5 again. Would I knit it again? Yes. I would knit it again and not put it in the washing machine. The next socks I have here are something I had a little bit of fun with. These are my Sunny Side Up socks by Summer Lee, and these are again from the Sock Project book. I think these are so fun. I did like a massive cuff on these, which I hadn't really done too much before. Just wanted to try something a bit different, and then you go straight into like the color work. There's an afterthought heel, which means you kind of do just blast through the color work, and then boom, sock is done, which is super cool. But yeah, I want to do something a wee bit different and do the same two yarns, but just one sock with one as the base and the other with the other as the base. So yeah, I think these are fun. Um, the yarns then I use are both Symphony Yarns Terra, one in the color Chimerick, which is the yellow one, and the other in the color Jodhpur Blue, which is the blue one. I'll show you the inside. Cute. I did 2 afterthought heels in a row. I don't know if an afterthought heel is my favorite. I think I do prefer like a slip stitch heel instead, and then like gusset decreases and everything. I think I prefer that. But yeah, this one looks the most like a little, like the heel looks most like a little heel you would find in a little store-bought pair of socks, but they do stretch out a little bit whenever I put them on, so maybe not my favourite. I do still think they're so cute. They're lovely to look at, aren't they? So I have to rate them. Pattern, let me give it, oh, the colour, it is so cute. There's like little dots in between each flower. I don't know if you could see from back here, but there is little dots between each flower. Let's give this pattern, ooh, I'm between a 4 and a 4.5, so let's give it a 4.25. My first quarter point in the whole video. They could have a little something extra to them. I don't know what that extra thing would be, but they are maybe like a little bit too basic for something that's not really a basic, because it has color work, if you know what I mean. Maybe I'm just being picky at this point. So 4.25 for the design, and then for the yarn choice, I wish I went for maybe a lighter blue, like a more sky blue. I think that would be a lot cuter, but maybe the contrast wouldn't be enough. I don't know. But let's give the yarn choice a 4.25 as well. Okay, let's go for another 4.25 for the yarn choice. The yarn, Symphony Orange Terra, my absolute favourite. Yeah, the yellow is beautiful. I just don't know about the blue. Would I knit it again? Again, maybe. I already have them. I don't see the need for me to have another pair, but I would do it for a gift. And I do love the big cuff on these. So yeah, a maybe. The next, I actually knit like a load of pairs of gift socks I don't have, that I don't want to rate because I don't have them. So we'll go on to the next one, which is, I'm calling these my squiggly bubble socks, and they have been on my channel a couple of times before. I don't know if that is like the final title for these. And I also wanted to release a pattern for them, but I don't know if I will. I need to work out maths for it, and also I need to re-knit them because there's like this kind of cable situation going, and then like baubles above each cable and below each cable. But the yarn choice makes it very hard to see. Yeah, the yarn I used, it was another Dye Candy one, Dye Candy Super Sock, but it was a one of a kind batch. But it just does need re-knit in like a more like a plainer yarn. Another thing about this pattern, another Pico Edge little cuff, so cute, reinforced slip stitch heel, and then just ordinary like toe box. So yeah, maybe I will like reknit this, work out the maths for the other sizes, and release a pattern. But for right now, it's just like in the back of my mind. So let's rate the pattern. Since I haven't written one, a 0. No, I do have a pattern that I did follow. Again, I'll give myself a 4 out of 5. I don't want to be harsh. I don't want to be egotistical. A 4 out of 5 will do. And then for the yarn choice, 1.5 out of 5 for this pattern. The yarn itself is gorgy, gorgy, beautiful. I love it. The purple with the speckles, so pretty. And I have used it for another pair of socks. It's maybe the next ones I'm going to talk about, but just not right for this sock. Would I knit it again? Yes, I would, and I want to, and I bought the yarn to knit it again, but I just haven't. It's just in the total back of my mind. So yes, eventually I would knit it again. I have 3 more pairs to talk about, and then it's home time. The next pair, I love these actually. I really, really do. These are based on roughly the Stripes recipe #1, Happy and Scrappy, from the Summerlee Sock Project book. Only based on that, I didn't even read the pattern for that. I just needed to know how to weave in the ends, so that's what I did. And also the inspiration with the white in between the colours I took from that pattern. but other than that, I have followed in my head the same pattern as for the I'm So Basic sock. So it does have the 2x1 ribbing, and then it goes into the colours, and then slip stitch heel, and then normal toe decreases and everything, and it's got the same amount of stitches as the I'm So Basic sock. So kind of did follow that pattern, kind of didn't. So I'm gonna have fun reading this. But before I do, just a couple things to talk about. These, I knit them in Continental. I taught myself how to knit Continental on these socks, which I did switch back to English style when it came to doing colour changes because that was too fiddly, but all the rest of it was Continental, and to be honest, my tension, I think it looks absolutely fine. Not better or worse than when I knit English style, just the same. So I'm quite pleased with that. So the yarns then, it is Cascade Yarns Heritage in the colour white, for like obviously the white parts. And then all the yarns are from Northern Ireland Independent Yarn Dyers. So the purple and the pink are two that you saw earlier. They are both the dye candy ones. That is how vibrant the pink should be, and it's washed out to like that light pink in my I'm So Basic socks with the Pico edge. And then the purple is the same one as the last pair of socks, and then the blue is the same one as my pair of Oh My Goodness socks. So that's the color that that yarn should be. And that is the Irish Artisan Yarns. What was it? Merino Bamboo Silk, I want to say, in Brompton Bay. So that's the color that all those should be. These have only been washed like once in hand wash, so they are very like, that's the color, that's the correct color. I'll just show you the inside. And I did talk about these in my last video, I think, as well, about catching the colors. So it's like 7 or 8 stitches before a color change. You just like start catching, you like join in the yarn to catch the floats of it. You don't knit with it yet. And then at the end of the round, so you do your 7 or 8 stitches, whatever, then you change over and you start knitting with the new color, and then catch the floats of the old color for like 7 or 8 stitches after. And then you just tighten it all up at the end, and cut the edges so you don't have to weave in any ends, which is really good. So pattern, I will give this, again, it's so basic, I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. I love the fact I don't have to weave in all those ends. That's amazing. But yeah, again, it is pretty basic little pattern, just with cutie little stripes all over. I really thought I would actually rate something 5 out of 5. I don't think I have. And then the yarns, I do love that. It just makes me so happy looking at that. I think it's so cute, so girly, so vibrant, and crisp white as well. 5 out of 5 for the yarns. I just have to remember to only ever hand wash this, otherwise it'll turn out like some of the other socks I've shown. Would I knit this again? Definitely. Can you imagine like doing it in like all different colors, like white as the base and like other colors for the stripes? Yes, I would knit this again. My next pair then is another pair of Broken Record Broken Rib socks. So I actually cast these on just so I could have something to knit and work. The yarns in this one then are Symphony Yarns Terra Valentine for like the contrast cuff, heel, and toe, and then Townhouse Yarns Fade Street 4-ply in the colour Briar. This time, whenever I was knitting these, I only followed the pattern for the broken rib like explanation, and everything else was the same at like, you know, the heel flap and everything. I just followed the I'm So Basic socks pattern because I know it so well in my head because I've knit it so many times, and I didn't want to be reading a pattern. So pattern rating then, what did I give it last time? I don't know. I need to give it the same as I gave it last time anyway. Boom, there we go. And then the color, the yarns I chose, I feel like these are a bit dark, wee bit dark, too dark and moody. Maybe cute for autumn, but I don't think I've even worn these yet. So let's rate the yarn. I mean, I do love variegation and stuff, like the different pops of color, so cute. And especially the Valentine as well, it's got pops of color itself, and I think that the contrast color ties in really well with the main color because there is bits of that kind of same purple. What will I rate this for yarns? I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5 just because I think it's too dark. It was a gift yarn. It would make a really cute pair of socks for a guy, actually, but I knit it to my size. But yeah, it was a gift yarn. I don't know if it's the kind of thing I would have picked out myself necessarily, but maybe I'll be loving them in the autumn. It's too summer right now to think about it. And then my final pair of socks. We made it, guys. I've been filming for like an hour and a half. I'm so tired. Oh yeah. Okay. Pop off with the last pair of socks. Okay. These are the Chilton socks by Midsummer Knits. And I knit this as part of her, she had like a Chilton socks cal or knit along. Um and I joined the free one because she had a paid one as well for like inexperienced sock knitters, but I've knit probably 30 pairs of socks because I don't have all the ones I've given away. Yeah, 30 pairs of socks before, so I didn't really need any hand holding. A huge big ruffle, and then very similar cables to the Seafarer socks. Let me try and show it off a little bit better by just holding up one, and then reinforced slip stitch heel, and then this one actually has an anatomical toe, which means you have a left and a right sock because you do more decreases on the pinky side for each sock, so you have to make sure to remember to knit one as a left and one as a right. Um, Pattern for this one then. Oh, I didn't even say. The yarns I knit these in then is Yarnsmith's Kid Mohair Silk and Yarnsmith's Merino Sock Superwash, both in the colorway of off white, and those are just held together to give this nice kind of cloud, like soft look. So for the pattern, I would rate these. I'm a big fan of Midsummer Knits. I do love like watching her on social media and stuff, and watching her YouTube videos, and like when she talks about like how much money she made and all. I find all of that very interesting. But the pattern was a little bit like to knit it was a bit fiddly at some points with a big massive ruffle, and then whenever you go into like splitting off for continuing like for the foot after you do the heel, there's not like a super clear explanation that you're not continue, there's a cable right at the corner that you don't continue the cable there. So I also like fucked up knitting my second one. I made the second one slightly bigger because I just like didn't look at the pattern quick enough, which was my own fault. Like I just got too carried away and accidentally knit too much on the leg and the foot for the second one. So pattern, I would give it a 4 out of 5. Like I do think it's very cute, but could just be written a little bit better. And then the yarn I chose, I actually haven't worn these yet, so I don't know like how they are holding up. I've like just blocked them and not like, you know, worn them, dirtied them and washed them again or anything like that. So I don't know if I can give a good rating on these on the sock yarn. Based on aesthetics, just let's give it a 4. 4 out of 5. Yeah, 4 out of 5. It's a clean little crisp cable in this little off-white colour. It's cute, but haven't really worn them too much. The only reason why is I find it very hard to style. I have tried to wear them a couple of times and it just looks silly, so I need to find the perfect outfit for it. Would I knit these again? Yes, I would. Now that I know where my downfalls are for, making sure I don't accidentally knit too much on the leg or too much on the foot. Like I know to pay attention to that, and also the ruffle. I really struggled with it for the first one, but the second one was a little bit easier. Yeah, I think I would reknit these. Maybe I've seen like a couple of pairs in like darker colors that looked so cute, like a dark purple would be lovely for Christmas time. I get so excited about knitting. Just imagining like me wearing these in like dark purple or something. I'm like, oh my god, I have to do it. So yes, yeah, I would knit them again. Wow, that was an awful lot of talking. Apologies you had to sit through so many I'm so basic socks, but I just knit it so much. I do love knitting socks. They are one of those things you can like bang out a pair in a week, or you can, let it take 6 months if you want to. I just do love always having a pair of socks on the needles at all times. And I want to explore more sock patterns. I want to do little trainer socks, and I want to do, different things. I have like a load of like patterns in this book, if you can see them marked, that I still want to knit. So yeah, I'm very motivated to knit socks. I just think they're like the easiest, cutest little things to knit, and they do make for lovely gifts as well. So yeah, thank you for watching all that. Again, I said before, like every pattern that I talked about in this video, except for the ones that were in that book or that I couldn't find the pattern for, all of them will be listed in the bio below, so you can go check those out. If you're keen to check out my free ruffle socks pattern or my paid Guinness socks pattern, then please do. That would be so cool. I can't wait to see people posting like their finished projects on Ravelry, and I get to see like what yarns they did and how they turned out. So yeah, that'd be super, super cool. And if you want to connect with me on any social media, I have Instagram and Ravelry are both Rigger Knits, the same as my channel, and TikTok is Claire Joy with an underdash. But again, all the links are in the bio below. So yeah, let me know if you do end up knitting any of the things that I have mentioned in this video. It'd be so cool to see. Hopefully, I will catch you in the next video, so stay tuned for that. But otherwise, love you loads. Okay, bye.